For many owners of professional service firms and academies, signing a marketing contract feels like setting money on fire. You hand over a massive monthly retainer, waiting for revenue to grow. Instead, the budget vanishes while your bottom line stays exactly the same. The trap is usually set during the very first sales fall. An agency looks at your business and immediately promises to double your sales or deliver hundreds of qualified leads within the first 60 days. It sounds incredible, but it is an operational impossibility. This diagram highlights the problem. The e-commerce timeline is built for speed. A customer sees a product and buys it. But a professional service firm, like a law firm or a specialized academy, relies on a long, multi-node decision tree. This cycle requires multiple interactions and a high degree of trust before a contract is signed. When an agency forces that rapid-fire e-commerce strategy onto a relationship-based business model, the system shatters. Because they skipped the diagnosis phase, they apply a generic template to a unique sales cycle that it was never designed to handle. This works because of a persistent misconception that external marketing is an isolated magic bullet. We want to believe that paying for enough Facebook ads will automatically drive company growth, disconnected from our internal capacity to manage that growth. By building a strategy on a structural mismatch between business models, the agency ensures the campaign will fail. The effort is doomed before the ink even dries on the contract. Once the contract is signed, the execution phase begins. But without a diagnostic plan to guide them, the agency immediately starts operating in the dark. Agencies often sell a list of disconnected activities. They invoice for 10 social media posts, 2 blog articles, and 3 ad campaigns, a model built on the quantity of labor rather than the actual growth of the company. Because they skipped the foundational market research required to understand your target audience, the agency is essentially guessing. And when their initial guesses fail to generate revenue, they have to improvise. This cyclical flowchart shows exactly how that plays out. They launch Facebook ads one month. When those fail, they immediately pivot to YouTube. When that doesn't work, they drag you onto TikTok, desperately searching for any sign of engagement. There is no central strategy here, just a loop of trial and error at your expense. To conceal this complete lack of direction, the agency will carefully shift your attention away from your stagnant revenue and toward a different set of numbers entirely. They flood your monthly reports with vanity metrics. They will show you an increase in page likes, share counts, and raw video views. But an influencer might get paid for views. A professional service firm gets paid by acquiring actual clients. And even if they do manage to deliver leads, you might fall into a secondary trap. Your customer relationship management software fills up with hundreds of contacts who have absolutely no intent to buy. This artificially inflates the agency's success rate while you lose money paying for the software seats to house dead leads. The entire model relies on creating a frantic illusion of digital activity. As long as the agency keeps you distracted with likes and irrelevant leads, you might not notice that your actual bottom line hasn't moved an inch. To maintain this illusion indefinitely, many predatory agencies rely on one final tactic: the operational blackout. They set up your ad campaigns and analytics dashboards using their own master accounts. They set themselves as the sole administrators. If you ask to see the raw data, they send you a curated PDF summary instead of granting you direct login access. This forces you into a total dependency. Without access to your own analytics, you cannot audit how your budget is being spent, verify the quality of the traffic, or check if the reported metrics are accurate. Ethical marketing operates on a different standard. Every piece of digital infrastructure, every ad account, and every byte of data generated during a campaign is an asset that must be permanently owned by the business that paid for them. A true partner builds transparent systems that you can control. A parasitic agency holds your data hostage to ensure you have no choice but to renew the contract. But let's say the ads actually work. Let's assume the agency successfully drives a massive wave of highly qualified traffic to your business. If your internal operations aren't prepared, this success will break your company faster than a failure. Inbound calls suddenly overwhelm the front desk. A receptionist tries to juggle waiting room patients while answering complex sales questions. Prospective clients who say, "not right now," are immediately forgotten because nobody has the time to follow up. This funnel diagram reveals the statistical consequence of that chaos. Without automated follow-up sequences in place, 80% of potential sales are permanently lost. You are paying a premium to acquire leads, only to watch the vast majority of them leak out through the gaps in your operations. This is why the systemic growth model demands a different approach. Before a single external ad is run, you have to audit your internal conversion bottlenecks. By adding an outer shell of structural automation, those leaks are sealed, capturing the leads that would have otherwise slipped away. Watch this funnel morph into 3 interlocking gears. This represents the core mechanism of systemic growth, treating your business as a unified, connected ecosystem rather than a collection of isolated departments. Notice the interaction here. Marketing generates the interest, sales manages the follow-up, and service handles the delivery. Revenue rises only when these 3 gears turn at the same speed. Real scalability requires a fully integrated operational ecosystem. Rejecting the myth of a marketing savior is the first step toward actual growth.